Hi everyone, welcome back to another Cut Above with Chris. It's going to be a thank you shave today. I'm going to be using two products, well actually three products that are thank you products, but two of them in particular from a gentleman who I don't actually even know his name. He sent me over a stick of Arko, which I haven't used since my very early days in the channel, and I failed terribly with it. So I'm going to use it like a stick should be used and actually rub it on my face this time. And I'm going to be using a brush that he sent as well, which I've already used on the channel a few times, and I'm going to get stuck in. So I'm going to wet my face, cold water shave. That'll be interesting to see how the camera fares. It's a lot lower light conditions now, so the sun's starting to set. You can still see a bit of light in the background, just to see how it looks. I've got a couple of lights on in the bathroom as well. So Arko stick, very, very cheap. I'm not sure how much this stuff actually costs, but it is very cheap from where it's from. I think it's from Turkey. The scent on it smells pretty much, to my nose, almost identical to Derby. So if you've used Derby and you like it, you'll probably like this. I've just opened it up, pushed it at the top. I'm just gonna, I might just wet it. What is it, mate? Not just now, mate, because you don't know how to do it.
Is it the small car or the big car?
The big car. Now, this one's probably got a slightly more of a citronella scent to it. I think that's enough. So I've used a bit of the stick. All I'm going to do now is just pop it back down in there. I'll leave that open to dry. That'll be me pretty much done and dusted. The brush for today, which was also kindly sent to me as a gift, is this little Semogue. I think it's 1420. Now it did split on the back. You probably can't see it on this camera. In fact, you might be able to. You can see where it sort of cracked and split down here when I soaked it for too long. It's got a 20, I believe it's probably about a 20mm bore knot in here, and it's a really nice knot. It's actually breaking in very, very nicely. I may get it reset another handle, but then again I might just leave it as is. It does have a bit of character now with the cracks on it, but really nice little brush. So I've just flicked the excess out. I've had it soaking for about 5-10 minutes. Now the good thing is, I did quite a few test lathers with this brush using Derby, so the scent that's in the brush is very similar. Definitely more sort of citronella I get from this one, like a citronella mosquito candle. So it would be a good 2 years ago since I used Arko. Back then what I did was I took a cut from it, just a slice off the top of the stick. I put it in my old horn bowl from memory and tried to lather it from the horn bowl on top of the tiny little bit of soap, and I got a dreadful lather. It was absolutely dreadful. Again, dip the tips again. Let's get a bit of splayage happening. Really impressed with the quality of this camera, I have to say. I think that Apple have done a great job, considering this is the front facing camera, to get such high quality. It's only 7 megapixels. I was contemplating grabbing hold of just a higher quality camera. But I've got my phone with me everywhere I go. This will be great for going over to Canada next year in the UK. For capturing the moments. It's got the portrait mode on there, which I've been using the past couple of days, and it's great. But more importantly, it's got a 6.5-inch screen, so I can watch the football when I'm at work. This ladder's going to take a bit of time, but I'm going to take my time and enjoy it. Like I say, this is a thank you shave. I actually sent him a message when I damaged the brush handle saying, look, I'm sorry, I've screwed the handle up myself. It just seems like a really genuine person. Do you know what? I don't even know if it's a bloke, in all honesty, I don't really know. The writing that comes on the emails that he sends, or she sends, there's a bit of like Asian Cantonese or something on there, I'm not sure, because obviously I don't speak any other language than English, and even then my English isn't the best. Well, so far the Arko ladder is an absolute beast. Display on this little brush as well is pretty damn good, it's pretty decent. You cannot grumble at all with that. Now this is a super cheap soap. Brush is kite. I'm pretty sure this is a tallow based soap. I don't have my glasses on, so I cannot confirm, but I'm pretty sure it's tallow based. From what I hear, it doesn't have the best of post shave feels. But other than that, it does the trick. I quite like the scent. I don't mind the scent. It doesn't put me off that it smells like a citronella toilet block. I think it's quite nice. It's quite zingy and refreshing, if I'm honest. It smells medically clean. Okay, the Carve Christopher Bradley razor with a 5th use on the Gillette Super Thin. I've done 3 face shaves and 1 head shave with this blade, and it has been outstanding. So this will be shave number 5, and let's just see how it feels. Cold water shave with no prep, and that is just outstanding. I love these blades. I can't even feel it cutting. I can, but there's no resistance at all. It just slices through the hair. Now the issue is, as you can see, I tend to shave really fast when I get a blade like that, and I end up getting little weepers here and there, but they heal up. God, listen to my wife singing. Your singing's on camera, by the way.
Baby, yeah. Sitting in the dark. Is that water?
She doesn't even know the fucking words. Right, first pass done, spot on. Really impressed. Right, just put a bit of water in the face, see what the residual slickness is like. I hear it's actually pretty good, and it does actually feel really nice. Right, now that I've got that off my face, and I can actually have a smell of it when it's diluted. When it's diluted, it smells a bit like just smells like a nice soap, really. Obviously very strong off the brush. The slickness is excellent, it's really good slickness. I'll just give you a quick stroke with it. It just slides over the skin, no problems at all. Scoop the excess from the flow through onto there, as you can see, and then straight back into the lather. So what we do is, well, what I do, get my brush, splay it a little bit, and then what you do is you get that sort of hollow, that indentation there, and I use it like a spoon. Just scoop a bit of lather up and then actually force it on my face, not force it, and it just allows you to spread your lather around a bit easier without making a complete mess of it. So Arko, super cheap, easy to lather, easy to lather. It does the trick. It's slick, it's protective, it's got a great cushion. I can't argue with all the properties of the so far. I can understand why people can use this soap day in, day out. This soap is built for Scotsmen, really. Oh, yeah, typical Scotsman. It's cheap as chips. You can pretty much get them anywhere, even over here in Australia. They're not too difficult to get hold of, and they're cheap as chips over here as well. And it's just flying through. It also dissipates in the water really easily. Even though it's a cold water shave, the soap's just melting off the razor, as you can see. I mean, there's nothing building up in the razor at all, it's crystal clear. Same again. The little brush is great. There's no scratch or scratch on this brush anymore, and it's not been used much. Just got amazing scrub, it's got real good scrub. I can really see what Spencer, why Spencer really enjoys these bore brushes when you start breaking them in. Right, across the grain, other direction. So these Gillette super thin blades, I believe, are produced in Thailand. For the Thailand market. They are absolutely phenomenal. Why they don't get so much press, I've no idea. The only thing I can think of is that people have either had fakes or false copies of them and they're not been as good. These have come as a gift as well from Dustin up in the northern suburbs of Western Australia, or in Perth should I say, up that sort of area, who had a recent trip to Thailand and he purchased a lot of them. He just stumbled across them by accident as well. And I tell you what a find. Now just to put them into comparison though, to buy 120 of these in Thailand you pay about $7 Australian. So that's about $5 American. However, to buy the same amount here in Australia from Thailand and have them shipped to you, you're looking around $40 to $50 all up. Right, let's put a little bit of lather in. I can't even remember his name. Someone sent me a message, new sort of subscriber to the channel, just I think he said he found it last week, and he was asking about the carveries and he's really interested and wants to grab one, and you were asking about whether to go for the C or the B plate to shave your head as well. Personally, I would go for the C plate if you're going to be using it as a daily driver. If you're using it every 2 days or more, I would personally probably go for the D plate. You'll be surprised at how smooth and not aggressive it is, but it's very efficient. I could daily shave with the D plate comfortably every day. I could possibly get away with the E plate, believe it or not. That is an absolutely brilliant shave, using, in terms of brush and soap, two of the cheapest pieces of hardness software that you can buy. I think the Semogue, I think it's the 1420 or the 1460, I think you can pick them up for roughly like $12 Australian. Really, really cheap. And obviously Arko's as cheap as it comes. There's not many things cheaper on the planet apart from maybe Williams mug soap. And we all know how shit that is. I will say one thing, I've just splashed cold water on my face there. I've got a little bit of irritation on my chin, like a sort of burn, just from the cold water, and I don't know whether that's due to the post-shave feel from the soap or whether I've irritated myself a little bit pushing too hard, but that felt like an amazingly close, comfortable, super smooth shave. I can't believe the picture quality on this camera, I really can't. Obviously looking at it in the screen, I know I'm looking at the camera most of the time, but when I'm looking at the screen as well, it's really clear. Not that you want to see my ugly mug in shit hot HD quality, I should really put it in 360p. Give the brush a quick flick on the towel. I've also spoken to Semogue about their brushes and sort of brush care on boar brushes and things like that, and I've got some feedback from them in regards to the brush. And one thing that they brought up with the new brushes, obviously this was a brand new brush, in order to break it in, a lot of people, including myself, sort of try to speed the process up, lathering it every day on the towel and all that. And it sort of made sense to me that they recommend that you actually use the brush and go through the pain with it. Start off with it really scrubby and scritchy and feel the difference as you go through it and actually get a reward from it by the end of it. And it makes a lot of sense, because I find wet shaving is quite a rewarding experience if you do things slowly, take your time and do it right. And that was the whole reason of jumping onto this sort of side of shaving, was to relax and start enjoying shaving again. And that's where I've come to. I've come to the point where I really enjoy shaving, which is crazy madness coming from where I came from in terms of shaving. I fucking hated it. So it makes a lot of sense to do things like that. So my next boar brush, when I get it, will be dealt with in that manner. It will be used for shaving, and just see how we go with it and go through the pain with it and watch it sort of grow into a beautiful soft tipped brush. That's what I'm looking for, at least anyway. Right, I'm going to finish off. Just let me have a feel of the close shave. Yes, a little bit dry, but that being said, there's still just enough moisture in there I could probably get away without putting any post shave on, but it would be touch and go. I think probably 10 minutes time when all the actual moisture of the water has come off my skin, I think I'd probably be struggling, it'd probably be a little bit itchy. So I am going to finish it off with some Moyle Grooming Frosted Heliopteris, which is sun fern in Latin, that you just joined a couple of words together. I think helio was sun and terrace, heliop was sun and terrace was fern or something like that, so it's sun fern. So I've already shaken it up, 1, 2, 3 splashes. Oh, well, I was expecting a lot of burn there and I got hardly any. So there you go. Especially on the chin, I was expecting it there and I got nothing. Oh, God, the scent on that Heliopteris is absolutely off the charts. It is so good. It is the Fougere scent from Moyle Grooming. And Sean Mullen over at Moyle Grooming has created an absolute beast of a scent with this stuff. An absolute beast. It goes with all sorts of Fougères. It's got so many different notes in there. It's sweet, it's tangy, it's woody, it's earthy. And it's got like a beautiful sort of, it's almost a citrus note runs through it. It's just incredible. And it's really, whew, that menthol, the amount of menthol it puts in is absolutely spot on. So we started off with some Arko today. I just want to chuck another massive thank you out to the fella that sent it over, or the person that sent it to me. I still don't know his name, her name. Hopefully they'll send it in the next message. I did email today saying I was doing this video just so they knew, as a thank you, because I've had so many things sent to me over the last two and a bit years. And the brush was the Semogue 1420, I think it was, or 1460. It's an amazing little brush. You've seen the lather it creates from one of the cheapest soaps on earth, and that's enough to say it's a good brush for me. The razor was the Christopher Bradley from Carve, C-plate, 0.85 blade gap, beautiful razor, my first Carve razor that I purchased. And it'll stay in my den for sentimental value more than anything else, the fact that it's the first Carve I ever bought, because I will always have a Carve in my den, no matter what. Even if it's the only razor in my den, it will be a Carve, I can assure you that. Absolutely incredible razor, smooth, efficient, comfortable, beautifully made, pristinely designed and finished off, just almost perfection. And finished off today with some Moyle Grooming Heliopteris, all the way from Canada. And I know my buddy Craig Stanway from Face Fat Shaving got his set of Moyle Grooming yesterday. 4 frosted bottles, you jamming it. I'm so jealous, even though I'm over the moon that I was sent them in the first place, along with a lot of other goodies from Sean, because he's such a top bloke. But other than that, I'm going to leave you guys to it. I have dribbled on for far too long. You guys stay safe, drive safe, don't drink and drive, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.